Hello again, everybody. Welcome to The Way I Do It. My name is Chris, and you can see here behind me my fabric tension building, or as I call it, my tent. What I'm working on now is I need to put doors up. So what we have here is a 20-foot opening, and I'm going to put in 2 doors. And because I have this small building on this end of it, that means the doors both have to go this way. My track is going to go up here. Let me show you. Yeah, these are your side rails for your door. You can also get probably a top and a bottom for it if you want. I chose to not go with the top or bottom. The bottom I'm going to just use a treated, probably take a 2x8 and cut it down. So the bottom will be cut down 2x8, and then the top will just be a 2x6, and then 2x4s every 24 inches. So every 24 inches along the way, and then I'll just mount the, and I'll show you how I do it. But yeah, that's what I do. Now this material is fairly expensive. It's around $5 a foot. It comes in, I'm not sure what the smallest section, 8 foot, 10 foot. I bought mine in 12 foot. My door is going to be a little bit over 12 foot, so I'm just going to stretch it. So I can just have my 2x6 out the top a little bit, and my treated out the bottom just a little bit. And it'll work out just fine. It'll work out just fine. My 2x6 on the bottom, I'll use some standard base trim like this. So instead of having the white on the bottom, I'll just attach this to my 2x6, and that'll make. Okay, so this is what I've got for door track. It's a cannonball style track. I picked this up at auction. The whole lot was like 90 bucks. So you can't beat it. There's a couple styles of hangers. Now we have some that have a wheel on them, but this is a cannonball style. This is a ball style. It's more traditional. It's what came on my barn that was built in 1947, and that was by a Starline manufacturer. I think this is by Cannonball. So this bracket here, this would go right. You'd drill a hole through your 2x6 or whatever board's at the top, and this would give you quite a bit of adjustment fore and aft to get the right clearance on the door, and that's what I want. There's another kind that actually has a bracket that goes over your door if you have like a wooden top, and or a wooden might go behind it, but I don't think they have the adjustment fore and aft. We can see here this goes right in there, and that's how it works. Fits in all of them. And they say a nice thing about these is they're self-cleaning. So debris, dust, stuff from birds, that'll get in there. And because of the shape of it, when the wheel goes over it, it tends to push it down. Where the other style that has the trucks, I'll call them, they have like a notch, and anything that gets in there sits in there, and the only way to clean it is to actually get in there and mechanically clean it. So in mounting these, I got these brackets, and this is a company, Plyco Combo. It makes these brackets. There's a part number. And this bracket has this so that my trim piece, which is designed to, this is designed to attach to a 2x8. So the 2x8, you make it level up here. So my trim piece will come down here across my 2x8 and then follow the contour of this down and down. So then it can attach to here. It has one hole for the rear door of the two and one for the front, and this is widely adjustable for that track. Now your track, this particular model comes with studs in it. Okay, so that stud is right there, and then the other one would go. So the track actually presses against your 2x8 here. Well, here we are. I'm about to put up my last section of track. So here's my track. It's a double track, but what I have is the track closest to the building underneath only goes to here for this. It's going to be an 11-foot door. And then the track on the outside will be for the door that goes all the way over. So the outside track is going to be 30 feet long, whereas the inside track only covers 20 feet. So I got those brackets. I believe they're actually a cannonball bracket, and they've got the tab on them for the overhang to cover everything up, keep it dry, and make it look nice. So those are all individual brackets. I started out at 1 foot in and then spaced them every 2 foot by stretching my tape from the end over. Now people say I cover too many details, but it's important that you go from the end with your tape and mark every 2 foot, because if you go from each one, you can compound an error. So error of a 32nd on a chalk line can add up, because the track themselves have studs at 2 foot intervals, and they fit pretty well. So on those studs, what I did was, when I attached the bracket, I left them loose. I used lag bolts. I got to where I was pre-drilling about 1 inch deep, and then I used a lag bolt, and I left it loose until I got them all up and in place. Okay, here's a close-up of the bracket. Now when I initially mounted these, I left these lag bolts loose. Then I hung the inside bracket, and I give a lot of credit to YouTubers that video everything they do. I was working out here in 20-degree weather with snow and everything, so I didn't put on the camera. I figured the cold would actually make it shut off. So I got the inside hung. The outside I've left loose because I gotta adjust it once I get the doors in place. Now what I did here is, behind here I have 2 2x6s attached to my header girder. So in recommendation of the place I bought the stuff, I attach a 2x8, and the trim piece that goes over this will go up, and it's made to go over here and will attach on this 2x6, and then I'll overlap that with the metal that goes on there. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, now once I get the door hung, again I can adjust that, and then the hangers also have an adjustment on them. Yeah, the hangers will rotate for in and out, up and down, a lot of stuff. Yeah, we actually are having kind of an ice storm. I was a little concerned the ladder was going to be frozen. Got about 1/4 inch of ice. But as the day goes on, it's going to get better, and the ladder was thawed. So after I get this last section up, the next step will be to take those door panels or door ends, lay them out level here. Well, this is where I am with these doors. So I've got them square. I've got all the girts in place, and they're all set to hang. I put a brace on them diagonally to hold them in place until I get them hung and squared up, and then when I put the sheet metal on, it'll hold them. Now what I did that's a little unusual with this method is I put these pins in the end. Being that these doors are going to bypass each other, there's no concern about having that screw in the end. Generally you might not even want that, but I put it in to hold them from twisting when I hang. So you can see I've got this treated piece on the bottom on both of them. I'll put my bottom strip on there. It'll be an angled piece just like this, and then I'll put my wainscoting on there, and I intended to leave this girt loose so I can adjust it so the bottom half of the 2x4 goes on the wainscoting, and the top half catches the other portion of the metal. So I got a friend that's going to come over and help me put these up, probably in the morning, because it's pouring out rain right now, and then we'll go from there. Well, this is where we're at today. I had my buddy come over the other day to hang up the frames of the doors, and so we got them hung up, and then I went ahead and started putting the metal on the bottom. I started out by getting my laser level out, and I took a measurement off the bottom edge of that metal trim there, or not the trim, the bottom edge of the metal wainscoting. So I hung this starter strip in the same location. I then located, I'd left this board loose, I located that so the strip of metal is the exact center. You can see I've got my gate latch, or my door latch right there all set. I just put it on with roofing nails so it can be under the metal without a problem here. And I still have to go up and cinch those down. That was a major headache because I had to make that edge align well with this edge. I had to make this end align fairly close with this edge, and then I had to make the two align as well as have them relatively level. I only make 12-foot doors, so they do come down to this bottom edge right there, but they are, the top is level with the top of the header there. So because they're offset doors, they're bypass doors, I may probably add something in there so the wind doesn't blow up and over it. I think it'll be pretty well shrouded, but I do get an awful wind up here. So that's what it looks like. So it's coming along nicely. This is what that latch looks like. So this in here, I'm probably going to put some just stick-on weather stripping so it's not metal against metal beating up on my my trim. And it does look like, it looks like this is not perpendicular. I mean, I set it up there quite a while ago and things may have moved and I may have gotten it wrong, but can't really see it like that. Unless maybe if I zoom in, no. So yeah, so to make it seal, I'm going to put like a little foam strip in here, and then this will line up right about here so the outside is flush. So if we get, you can see that the outside wants to be flush. So then this is going to be here, but the latch, I could put a block on here, but to maintain the width of the doorway, I think what I'll do is I'll offset, I'll bend the thing, so that should work just fine, just to hold it tight. Now these two pieces here, they actually almost mate. This edge here, which we can look at from this edge, which is just the lip for the trim, okay, that actually can fall inside of that as long as your doors are parallel. So that can go inside there, and then what I'll do is I'll have some type of connector to hold these two together like that, and then I'll put something down at the bottom into the ground. Well, this is where we're at with these doors. So I got them up on the track. I've got the cover on there. The cover is kind of cool because the track holders have a flange that hangs down, and then this track cover is made with a lip on it. You just hang the track cover up, and it's made to go up and over that 2x8 that I put up there, and it's just held in with roofing nails or flathead screws or whatever until I put in the next run of metal, which will have screws through that for the sheet metal. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So over here is I have this door stop right there, okay, and that catches the door it catches the wider door. And on the wider door, I've got a door stop that catches the narrow door. So it worked out nice that I had a wider and a narrow door. Of course, you can do it however works for you. I have a row of plastic up there for a window. Why do I have it under that overhang? It's just where I wanted it. I kind of felt that having a little shelter might make it a little more durable, a little more long lasting. Sure, when the door is open, it's going to have that 10-foot stretch covered, but of course the door will be open. So it'll let light in. And this is what it looks like from the inside. I had these overlap right there. And again, I think I said it earlier, I'll probably put like a stick-on foam tape on there. In the same way down here. This is what I did for a latch. That's your standard barn door latch. This piece has, of course, a piece that goes over it. You may have seen it. But it goes and it's screwed in down here. So it pulls against that whole 2x4. Might make sense to have a 2x6 because 2x4s can be a little flimsy, but you really don't need a whole lot of pressure on this. You just need enough to hold it closed. This is where I had it fit. Now I'll probably put that foam tape in here. And my post is off level a little bit, so it's a little wider up there, a little narrower down there. But it works, it fits. In the center here, because it's 20 feet wide, I just got myself, it's a gate anchor, they call it. Just goes on your regular old farm gates. And it's made so it locks in the down position. You can see the little tab on it. And you just push that tab and lift it up. And in the ground, I took about a 15-inch, it's actually tool steel tubing, and I drove that into the ground. So you got to be a little careful where you put it because that determines how your doors line up on that end and consequently line up on the other end. So of course on this other end, the same way, I end up with about the same fit. And I'm going to put that foam tape in there, most likely. I had to space this out because of this. Had I known better and planned a little better, I would have made sure that this was flush with this. Now it would overhang on the outside because we're only the width of a 2x, but I would have made sure that was flush, and that way I wouldn't need this to interfere, because in the event you need, you know, if you have a narrower door, you want the full door width with nothing in the way. Now as far as my jack post, you can see it's on the end of the door. I only held it on with 2 leg screws. The door can only open right to there because I put the stop on the back on the outside, and also that would stop it. Okay, now to connect these two doors together, this is a little cabinet latch. It's a standard National Hardware cabinet latch, and you just connect those together, and you would do them before you latch the door over here. So and this latch has got to be put on, it's called over center for a reason. So this bar has got to be below the center of the pivot pin, if that makes sense. So I lift that up, unhook it, and off it goes. Now an additional thing I would like to do is attach a roller to the wider door on the inside. That way it'll hold this door, it'll keep this door attached even when it's open. So when it's open like that, it is attached on that end, but not so much on this end. So I'd like to have a roller. To do that, I have to trim that door in so it has clearance for the roller. Of course, you need to design things for the highest wind. So again, to close this, you would just close it like that. And see, I had to notch out my roof because it came too close. That's all got to be trimmed out. So you just get it over there. Then you come over to this center latch. Just drop it down like that. And then you come over here, maybe push it a little bit. And drop this in like that. Push it down like that. And there you go. You got a nice sliding door. Now I'm going to have that gap underneath, which I'll have to have some wind block because it's very windy up here on this hill. And it can blow snow in here. So there you have my sliding doors. Any comments or questions? Again, this is informational, not for entertainment. So if you made it to the end, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, folks. And that's the way I do it.